So what we decided on making bounce. Let's add one more thing to let's add another sound. So the same thing, create a sound, and we'll do this S&D underscore bounce, and I'll go in and load, you guessed it, the bounce sound. And I'll press OK to save that. And we want to, so what event do we want to use to play that sound? Yep. So you got some of the logic down. So I'm going to open back up the clown, and if I go into the collision with object wall, I can go back over to the main 1 tab and drag in the play sound, and then select sound bounce and have it not loop. So there, now we're going to have all kinds of sounds. So every time you click and every time they bounce, and as you guys could probably tell so far, if you have a lot of clowns in there, they're bouncing pretty fast. So now we want to do, what if the clown bounces with another clown? So the first thing we want to do is make it solid so that we can detect that collision. So we'll make it solid with the check mark. And then we'll add a collision event the same way we did before. But this time, instead of choosing that we're colliding with the wall, we want to choose that we're colliding with another clown, right? So we'll choose object collide with object clown, and then we'll go up to the move tab on the right and go into the jump subcategory and choose bounce again, right? We just want to bounce off of them. And since we just made the clown solid, we can actually detect that collision.
Do you want to make it the same bounce sound against the wall?
If you want to hear a lot of music, you want to do it? Let's see, main 1, drag in a play sound. I don't know if I can handle all the sound. Sound bounce. So now, not only is it going to play the bounce sound when they hit the wall.
Bad idea.
All right, so this will be a good way to show you how to delete in action. So you can. It's not actually that cool. You just right-click delete, but.
It was amazing.
I had to make it a learning experience. So let me save that and let me run it again. You guys are running under the Windows target, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot faster than what I'm doing, and I don't know what's wrong with my Windows deployment, but okay. So one interesting thing. Anybody have any idea why they're getting stuck?
They're obsolete.
Yes. Yep. And then some of them they're basically moving and then getting locked because they can get and they can actually oscillate, someone said, so quickly between two things that they're like right on each other that you can't see the movement. So that's why these are looking still, and that's why when that one hits the other one, it sometimes picks up one that's stuck because then it bounces in a different direction, right? So it makes it move away from the other ones. Oh! That was worth it just for that. Oh. Alright, so the clicking thing was probably, oh wait, let's free them. So this is a little more probably what you're looking for. Then I can click them all. Yep. So who's got the next idea?
Oh, I will.
Yep.
Can we turn the clowns into something else, like a different sprite?
Yes. So I should have gotten one of you guys' profile pictures or something and put it up here. First off,
Take a picture real quick.
I can take pictures of me and then have phases of me running around all around.
first off, I'm going to delete the bounce against solid objects so it'll make it a little more smooth. Press OK. So all we need to do is go into the SPR clown, and I don't know if you have any images on your computer, but we can go into load sprite again, and I'll go into libraries and pictures, and I think my profile picture is on here. Yep. So I'll open that, press OK. If I go into my game, it's a lot. My profile picture is a lot bigger than that clown image was. So I need to. It's going to be hard to delete all those.
Why don't you just delete all of them?
Yeah, and then I'll do. Alright, so let me basically start over with my wall. Alright, and then I'll click on me. And actually what I should do, I can actually go into my sprite and I can edit and transform to scale. I actually go in and just scale him down to whatever size that is. So that should make it a little better. So now, well, actually, it still keeps the same overall size. Let me reload that. And actually, I'll just go in. There's a scale.
You could change the X and Y.
The scale?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Here?
No. Back here.
Where? And the sprite?
Yeah.
Yeah, edit sprite.
There.
This X and Y? That's just the origin. Yeah.
In edit sprite, you can
Edit sprite.
You can change this kind of thing. Transform.
And then scale?
Yeah.
That's what I did, but it kept the.
Size canvas. Maybe.
That might be better. So let's do 20%. Oh no, that just zooms in. Actually, that wouldn't be bad. Let's do that. 20%.
What about stretch image?
Stretch image.
It's under transform too.
Stretch. So if I did. Yeah, that's what we were looking for. All right, so I'm gonna actually reload it. I did like the idea. Edit sprite, and then under transform, which one did we do? Stretch, and then we'll do 30% just to see what that looks like. All right, so let me save that. Okay, and yeah, that works. So now I can add a bunch of me's. I've never been more popular. And what was the other? That was what we want to do, right? Add our own custom image. Or custom. So I'll save that. Let me run it again. If my face is in a game, that says something, right? Yeah. Alright, so I'm bouncing. Who's it gonna be? Oh, I win again.
No one is in that.
Alright, so yeah, this is...
What happens if the boxes, I mean, does it just fly off the screen?
If the boxes are not solid...
Remove like two of the boxes. Well, even if we just removed like two of them side by side and something drove through there, would it just...
Yes, so the screen that you see is a set size, 640 by 480, the X and Y, or the width and height under the room creator or whatever, right? That canvas goes on for forever. Right. And you see it with a lot of people, inevitably, and I'm surprised it didn't happen to someone, inevitably someone doesn't check the solid box. I guess I did a good way of explaining it this time. But inevitably someone doesn't check solid box, and they start it, their clown starts moving, and it keeps going, and it disappears, and what it's doing, it's going on into infinity.
And then if we had the game set so that once all the clowns are dead or whatever, it ends, it can never end because that guy just disappeared. And you can't click on it anymore.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep, so if you were checking, so if you had a variable and you start out with 20, for each time you click the clown, you subtract 1, and you test the variable constantly to see if it's 0, and one of them floats away, it's never going to be 0.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yep.
So like, can we turn that into something else? Like, let's say if it hits the wall, can we turn that into like a clown sprite back again?
You want to change it from my picture to a clown sprite?
On collision.
Yeah, like on collision.
You want to change it from my picture to?
No, from the clown picture to your picture on there.
So you want to have the clowns bouncing around, and then when they hit the wall, change it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one way you could do it is just basically delete. You could have two different objects, and when the clown hits the wall, delete it, and then create my object and have it moving in the opposite direction.
Oh, that's nice.
You can have different sprites. So the way animation works is it's basically like a flip book. So let's say if I want to have a sprite that moves left and right and just faces left and right, I can have one image like this, and I can have one image like this, and that can be one sprite. So a sprite can have a series of images, right? So then when I move to the right, I want to show this guy, which is index 0. If I want to move this way, I show this guy. So I could actually have two different images in my sprite, and then when he hits the wall, he switches to the other one. Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see. So if I open up my sprite and I go into edit sprite and let's see, can I copy and paste my guy? Okay, so you see image 0 and image 1. I wonder if I can actually...
Can you just flip them?
Yes, you can, and there's actually a way, and I'll show you in a second, to actually just take one image and just transform it based on which direction you're heading. But you would use this if you want to have two different images. So you could do that. Let's say there's actual movement in it, so there's 5 frames. So when you start moving right, you're playing these 5 frames, which are facing this way, and they are opposite of the 5 frames facing this way, right? Mm-hmm. But each one of those is a copy of each other going the opposite way, but you still need those individual frames. I don't know if you can actually just drag, nope, can't do that. But yeah, I could, so let's see, if I take this image and I animate, transform, so I could mirror him, so flip him opposite, or actually we could transform, mirror, flip, and do it vertically. And undo, transform, mirror, flip, not apply to all images, and flip vertically. So now I have one up, one down. So I could have it where when it hits the wall, it just switches to the down version and switches each time, basically.
How do you create multiple images?
I just copied and pasted this first one. Yep. There are sprite sheets, which are really handy, that people create that have all the different. So if I'm moving right, they have this step, they have this step, they have this step, and they just, like I said, do them like a flip book, and they can actually create those in one little strip that they can load automatically in here. But for now, if we want our image to face the way it's moving, we can add what's called a step event. And a step occurs there's 30 steps per second. So if you use a step event, you're basically just checking constantly for something. So if we want to add a step event and select step, then we can actually add an action under, I forget which one it is, under main tab, main 1 tab, and under the sprite subcategory, and drag in transform sprite. And under angle, we can actually type in direction, which is a built-in variable in GameMaker, which is the direction of the object. So if we just type in GameMaker, it knows what the direction is. So it gives us that direction. So if we do that in the step event and press OK and run it, then we should see it flip depending on which direction he's moving. He's just going back and forth between the. But yeah, you see? But you see how they're flipping when they hit, and they're not actually flipping perfectly. Probably look better. Well, it's because that's the direction they're moving. Right? Let me show you with the clown. Actually, documents, GameMaker, project, tutorial 7. That's not what I'm looking for. I shouldn't have left my folder. Tutorial 7, assets, background wall, so clown. So let me run it with the clown, and it'll make a little more sense. But yeah, whatever direction you're moving, even if it's at an angle, it's going to tilt the image that way. But since I had a square picture, it looks really weird. But the clown will just show up where its face is headed towards the direction it's moving. Yeah. Under the actions, it's under the main 1 tab, and then under the sprite subcategory, the middle one with the little arrows on the bottom and right, just drag that in, and then under angle, instead of 0 or whatever it is, type in direction. Yep. Any other cool ideas for this game?
Make it possible to lose.
Like I've created a clown. Oh, I'm sorry. So I created a clown. So it's a vertical clown now, different color. I want to be able to like click it and drag it around on a play. Like you just put a couple other clowns that move randomly. And you have to click and drag and keep it away from the other ones because it collides. You lose your player clown.
Okay.
How do I make it so the movement is based on? Because I know there's like a press. You can do like you press like left click and press. That means like you're grabbing and you kind of just move it with the cursor. Is that possible, or is that like?
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is do a global mouse press, and I'll try to do it in a second. I'm trying to think about it. Do a global mouse press, and then what it'll do, it's wherever you click. So you're not gonna be clicking on the object necessarily, right? You're gonna click anywhere on the screen, kind of, and it's gonna follow your finger. So there's a move towards thing. So we can just do for that one clown, it can move towards my finger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we click in different places, it'll change its motion.
Yeah, and I think you can actually hold it down on the object itself and drag it around. Did you actually make it a separate object?
Yeah. There's gonna be like one clown that's like a player object, and there's all the other clowns that are their own.
Okay, so just we'll make sure everyone understands that. So he wants to have objects with different behavior. So even though they're still two clown-looking things, they are two different objects because they have two different behaviors. Yeah. I'm going to delete these. Well, actually, it'll be kind of cool. We'll see. So what he's saying is he wants to press on the screen and have the clown move towards his finger, basically. And then that way, if he moves his finger around, it's kind of like he's dragging the clown. So under your special clown, your player clown, you would add event and go to mouse. Let's see. Might not be mouse. Other. Nope. Where is it? Global mouse at the bottom. And then global left pressed. And then under the move, there's a move towards. Let me see. So under the move subcategory, it's the very top right. And if you drag that in, now we want to tell it where we want to move it to. So first I'll give it a speed of 4. Actually, what I'll do, I'll give it a speed of 0, and I'll check. Nope, sorry, can't do that. Give it a speed of 4, which is the same speed it was, so it's not changing speed or anything, right? And then we want to move towards the X and Y coordinate of my mouse press. And I'm going to have to double check this, so I might get an error at first. But the built-in variable for mouse is mouse underscore X and mouse underscore Y, I think. Let me run it and see if that's right. Okay, so you see how they all... And this is more that I actually cannot drag them around like I thought, but I can click
You kind of click around.
and they'll follow. There is a... That's crazy that they all come to one. Wow. So if I click them, I got all of them.
That's
Okay.
how you can win easily.
Yeah.
Put them all up and blow them up.
I think there's a way to have it do it a little smoother if it's... Yeah, I don't know right offhand how you can actually just hold it on and drag. You could...
Is that there was like a mouse pressed, mouse released, and then there's one that's like just mouse button. And is that the hold down one?
Mouse button, I think, is going to be this middle thing.
Oh, okay.
Mouse release, the difference is press and then yeah, exactly.
Could you click on your left press there real quick and see what you do?
I don't have anything there. Oh wait, yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Create an explosion, destroy the instance, and play a
Oh
sound.
wait, how did you get them all moving in the same direction? What is that?
That's the global left pressed,
Oh, global left.
and that's the move towards. And you want to move towards mouse underscore X and mouse underscore Y, and that's the X and Y coordinate of your mouse click or your finger, depending on what you're using. And those are built-in
Did you
variables.
do left press or left button?
Global left pressed.
Do you think if you did it just as the left button, it would just follow wherever the mouse went? What is the button?
We can try it. I was thinking left button, and I'm not sure. I was thinking left button is this.
Oh, it has left, middle, and...
Does that make sense? Okay. Are you gonna try to do the mouse button?
Oh, yes.
Well, I'll try. Yeah, I'll try to. Global
Sorry, I was
mouse.
doing the left press there.
Where did you?
The top one there.
Global left button.
So I'm not sure what that means.
All right, so I'll do a move towards mouse X, mouse Y, speed of 4. Okay. They are. Say. Is it following you more like you were saying?
Oh, sorry, I totally did your left press.
Okay, I'm gonna try it with left button and see what that looks like.
I believe in you.
Thanks. Oh yeah.
Is it click and hold or just wherever you move?
If you can,
You have to hold
can you
it.
see what I'm doing?
Yeah, just dragging your finger around it.
Yep.
So basically you hold it mouse button. So it counts as just the button held down.
And then I can just do the presses as well.
Oh, okay. So whatever the left button does, is what it responds to.
Cool.
It still converge,
Yeah. And I win.
but there's no way to lose.
That's true. Oh yeah. So the next thing someone said was some way to lose. So what? How do we lose?
Time when the game crashes.
Oh,
The game crashes. Yeah, we'll just respawn until it crashes. What'd you say?
You have like a time limit or something, and then you don't kill all of them or something like that.
Yeah. So let's just we'll add a timer, and hopefully I've been having some issues with my graphics, so hopefully it'll show up correctly. But we'll add a timer, and we'll just pop up a little message when the time goes out. So for me, when I do these things, I like to have an object control that it's technically visible, but it doesn't have a sprite. So you put it in there, and you don't see it, so it's invisible, but the check mark is still visible. That makes sense. Kind of confusing. But I use object controls to do things that are not directly associated with a player, like keeping score, health, doing alarms and stuff like that. That are kind of like background things that are not necessarily directly associated with a player. So I'm going to go ahead and create an OBJ OBJ control. And again, I don't need a sprite. I still want it to be visible. I need it to be visible in case I use it to draw the score or something like that on the screen. I need it to be visible, so that'll show up, but it itself will not actually be visible to the screen. So with the control, what we'll do, we'll add on the create event, we're going to start the alarm, and under create, we'll go under to main 2, and then under the timing, there's a set alarm. If I drag that in, we'll do 60 steps right now, just to make it really quick. Again, 30 steps per second, so 60 steps is going to be 2 seconds. And then, yeah, this is just so you guys see it. Actually, let me make it, let's do 120 so you have a little more time. And then the second option is you choose which alarm you want to use, basically. So what you're doing, you're creating your alarm, or under the create, you're starting your alarm. And then I'll save that. Then you want to add the event to handle when that alarm expires. So under add event, I'll go over to alarm, and I'll choose alarm 0 because that's what we decided we were going to use. So I'll choose alarm 0. So now when that alarm expires, now what I want to happen, right?
Game to end.
Yep. And there's a couple different things we could do. We could restart the room. We could just pop up a little dialog box. Any preference either way?
Just pop up game over.
All right. Under where am I? What tab is that in? I think I'm still under main 2. Yeah, under main 2. Under info, they have a little dialog box. Just drag it in and tell it game over. So I'll save that. And I think that's all we need. And then I need to actually add the object to the room. So if I open back up my room and I select the object control here, when I click it in, it's not going to have a sprite. It's just going to have a blue circle with like a pink question mark in the middle. And it just tells you that it doesn't really know what it looks like. So let me run it. And then I'll click. Then it pops up the dialog box that says game over.